All right, here we go on a Thursday. It's Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, JT Noah once again filling in. Final day for JT filling in. Who knows what he's going to say today, folks? Who knows what we're going to hear from JT?
We got two interesting ones this week.
We did. We're back in studio
that
today.
That poor professor, you know.
Yeah.
Reminds me of the time Harold Kuntz had his name mispronounced really badly.
Yeah, that's not a good one either. That's not a good one either. So we are in studio today. You can probably hear that. If you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, X, or Facebook, you can see that. The Royals have a day game today in Minnesota. So we're going to hand things off to Vern at 11:30 today. So we're off at 11:30. That's why we're not up at camp. Back in St. Joe tomorrow. Back with a exclusive interview after practice tomorrow. And so we can expect that tomorrow on the show. Don't forget, though, if you follow us on social media, we already sent out a tweet about this, but today, at 10:45, JT's fiance is going to call into the show.
She volunteered.
She did.
So I just want to make this clear that we didn't force this upon her.
Nope.
She said that she was willing to come on the show and discuss the depravity of JT on the show for later.
Yeah, so she's
She
going
thinks
to...
it's hilarious. She's just like, it's so funny.
She's going to call in. I mean, honestly, my biggest question, other than just some of the obvious stuff, is also going to be the first time this happened, be honest, what did you think?
Or how did the conversation come up?
Yeah, did you have a conversation afterwards? You say, hey, by the way, I noticed your shoes were on the whole time.
Maybe the first time you don't say something, but at least by two or three when it's every time.
So I got to ask about that. We'll see how that goes. 10:45 today, JT's fiance, Haley, is going to call in to the show. In the meantime, we'll talk some football. We'll talk a little baseball as well. You guys can interact on the Jay Southland Toaster. It's text line 913-586-7965. Let's start with, I think, a camp that, while very interesting in storylines, Mahomes coming back and trying to see where Montour Delane's health is at, and Kenneth Walker as a new running back, and a big year for Worthy as Xavier joined us yesterday. How many position battles are there truly, though, right now up in St. Joe? Because you and I have been saying all along, and it was confirmed, I think, essentially yesterday with seeing Jalen Moore work with the ones.
But technically, someone else is working with the ones today. And Nate tried to warn you guys yesterday on the show that they do that a lot.
I don't think right tackle is actually one of the position battles. We can list some off and see, and you guys can text some in. I don't think right tackle is actually a position battle. Maybe for the number 2 spot, but not for the starting right tackle. I think that is Jalen Moore's job.
I think that one we can cross off the list. And so we can get to some of the ones that I think are more important. And unless something at this point, to me, it's just, unless there's an injury, how am I to assume that Jalen Moore's losing that job again? He lost it to Simmons last year and a qualified veteran right tackle. That is quite a bit different. They've made the move to Kingsley at guard. They're not going to make him challenge him there. And also, Kingsley wasn't a good tackle. He was a good guard. So why the hell would we make that switch back? So unless it's going to be, and I can't remember the name of the guy, unfortunately, who we start getting down on the depth chart of the Chiefs, and okay. It was, let me see real quick. Khalil Benson.
Oh, Khalil Benson this year, sorry.
Was the guy who got first team look today at right tackle on day 2.
That's the Indiana guy, okay.
Not totally uncommon, but the Chiefs do this all the time. I'm just pointing out, I've seen some of the furthest down backup guard guys get right tackle. I've seen Andrew Wiley get first team right tackle, second team right tackle snaps in a Chiefs training camp. They like to give guys positional flexibility. But the day one guy is typically the day one guy. And at that one, I think that one's 2. Here are the ones that I wrote down, and I want the text line to tell me if they think I'm missing somebody. 913-586-7965. Here are the actual position battles that I think are of note. They're not as exciting as you might think because most of them are for backup spots. The only starting spot I think is up for grabs is defensive end. Maybe you could make an argument for cornerback 3. I think that's as a starter position, so that's 2. Outside linebacker, as in the guys who maybe aren't full-time starters, but in the Leo Chenal role. Wide receiver 4 and running back 2. Am I missing something? DeMercado and Emmett Johnson is probably the most interesting to me, other than defensive end. I think, does Gelati start or does R. Mason Thomas start is interesting. That, to me, is the most interesting of all the position battles, and those are the only ones I think exist on the team.
The most impactful one for the 2026 Kansas City Chiefs is defensive end.
Yeah.
And is it
Outside
going to be
edge.
R. Mason Thomas starting day one? What's that rotation look like if there is one with Gelati? That's the one that has the biggest impact on this team in 2026. I know we want to see like wide receiver 4. We would probably prefer Cyrus Allen winning that job because it would make us feel better about perhaps the wide receiver room beyond 2026, right? That has longer implications. Defensive end has long-term implication if R. Mason Thomas wins that job, and it also has a major impact on this year. Who wins the wide receiver 4 job probably is not going to be the make or break for the Chiefs offense in 2026, but it might impact how we feel about them in 2027. Outside linebacker, I mean, Bossa, I would say he's probably going to win the job against McDonald, but that's one, I guess, to watch a little bit during camp. Both should play a lot in these preseason games.
Yeah, and they might. And look, as much as I would say should win the job, I will say in that situation, I guess, Spags has a history of just choosing a guy sometimes that you're not expecting to be. Like, we all just pencil in Bossa because he was the higher draft pick. He's been around. He's played more special teams. And you're like, oh, they'll just pencil him in. I don't know. Sometimes Spags just chooses a Cooper McDonald type and says he's more ready in the he knows where to go department, and he just wins the job. But I mean, that's also like, we're talking about third outside linebacker. We're talking about, or, maybe not.
No, he'd be a starting linebacker. He'd be, when they do the lineups on this Monday Night Football, he would be listed as a starter.
Sure, but they don't always do 3 linebackers. They run these extra safeties, and when you look at the snap count for a guy like Chenault, it was like 50% of the snaps, so it's no different than I guess in my mind, rotational defensive lineman, not a guy who's making every single snap. Those positions are important. Corner is the only one where I'm asking myself, and running back, where I'm like, is it a battle? Is running back 2 a battle, or have they already decided it's DeMercado or Emmett Johnson? Is cornerback 3 a battle, or as soon as Mansour Delane is back, it's just Snead's job? Because I think it's Mansour and Noah Williams.
Yeah.
And is it just Snead's job at 3?
No, I think Christian Fulton.
Or is it Christian Fulton, or is it Canada, or some of these other people have a real chance of taking the job?
I mean, Canada continues. There's some we're not in St. Joe today, but there's some writers that are up there tweeting once again that Canada continues to be impressive at camp. He's been one of the more impressive players. Tomorrow we'll have Camp Darling Island, maybe our first cut. And Canada, did he end up making any of our list? I think he's on mine, right? So
yeah, I think he's yours.
So he's someone that I think is going to be safe for this weekend when we do our Camp Darling Island. Somebody else suggested another position battle that said, hey, what about nose tackle? What about defensive tackle, the second spot opposite Chris Jones? Is there a competition with Tonga and Peter Woods?
Just rotate.
They rotate in. Tonga can be the starting defensive tackle. He's not playing 70% of the snaps. Peter Woods could win the job. He's not playing 65% of the snaps most likely either. So those guys are both playing. Now, as the season goes on, I think we'll watch, will Tonga play more snaps in week 12 than Peter Woods? We'll see. Peter Woods has been somebody that we'll know more when, I think for offensive lineman and defensive lineman, I think you really have to have the pads on before you can say, oh, so-and-so is really doing a great job winning.
Weirdly enough, a preseason game, it's one of the few times I feel like that's kind of telling. Mm-hmm. You got to, they have to be physical. How am I supposed to judge how good a defensive line is playing when they're in sweats?
Playing two-hand touch, yeah.
For that position? At least for corner, I know you can still guard someone, or for wide receiver, you might be able to get open. Running back, you might still be able to run fast, but at defensive line, that's all physical. And we understand they can still do individual reps and win, but before the pads are on, the speed is different, the motion is different, the pressure is different, and so outside of that, it feels like I can't make a determination on it. Look, edge is actually the one. For Woods and Tonga, they'll both play. I'm hoping Woods plays more than Tonga, but they're both going to play a pretty fair amount. Wide receiver 4 is a competition, but what are we going to do? You and I are going to spend all training camp talking about wide receiver 4? Right now, it appears Cyrus Allen has the leg up.
You know what, though? But as I said, I think more than normal we will. Normally, we would not talk about the 4th wide receiver.
Normally, because we're talking about wide receiver 6, honestly,
but I think wide receiver 4, it still feels weird to discuss, but the reason why we're going to throughout camp is because it involves 2 rookies. And yes, Nico Remigio is still there, and he's the more experienced player, but Cyrus Allen, Jalen Royals, long-term, one of those guys emerging would be a great thing for this team. And yesterday, Andy Reid saying that it looks like, I'm paraphrasing, Cyrus Allen has gained some trust from Pat, or Pat has a lot of trust in Cyrus. That's about as...
that's a pretty good compliment.
That's as much praise as Andy Reid's going to give a rookie wide receiver this early in camp that was a 5th-round pick.
Well,
that was telling.
He has no competition. Like, genuinely, his competition right now is Jalen Rose, who the Chiefs don't seem to like because they didn't play him very much. And he's made, again, no noise in the offseason. So you're like, well, there's not much there. And then who else is he, like, genuinely?
That's it.
Who else is he competing with for snaps?
That is it.
Like, it really is. It's all undrafted guys. It's like Armstrong and, I mean, it's just a bunch of.
Your guy, Xavier Lloyd.
Yeah, Xavier Lloyd. It's pretty much the rest of my camp darlings who I'm just
Caldwell
throwing a prayer on, right?
Yeah.
It's not, I'm not saying, but like the competition for the snaps should be between him and Jalen Royals, and Jalen Royals got no buzz. And I will say, wide receiver 4 does get used in this offense. Wide receiver 4 gets used for the tune of 400 or 500 yards. Justin Watson has been wide receiver 4 in this offense. Juju Smith-Schuster has been wide receiver 4 in this offense, depending on the year. He's obviously been wide receiver 2 in this offense as well, but like, if you go back through that list, I mean, there are guys at wide receiver 4, DeMarcus Russell, when,
Marcus Russell.
I was getting Jamarcus and
You were
DeMarcus.
Combining Jamarcus Robinson, right?
DeMarcus Robinson.
Yeah.
He's gotten wide receiver 4 snaps when it was Tyreek and Sammy Watkins and a bunch of other guys competing. He might end up, he's going to end up with like 600 yards again this year for the 49ers because Pearsall got hurt.
His knees.
And now all of a sudden, Robinson's just going to be available for another contending team or whatever. But wide receiver 4 gets used. So Cyrus Allen would actually be an important player. You and I actually think it's funny. I said wide receiver 4. We've actually been trying to fight back having the conversations on wide receiver 6 or 7, where I don't want to have the conversation. To your point, wide receiver 4 does matter. I'm just starting to wonder how much of a competition it's going to end up being. Or Cyrus Allen's just going to run away with it.
Well, right this second, if the season started tomorrow, it would be Nico Remigio.
Yeah.
Because he's the experienced guy.
Yeah,
but
that's
in
true.
5 weeks from now, is it Cyrus Allen? Let's see what he looks like again with pads on. It's great. Props to him, what he's doing in practice to this point. What happens when it's a little more physical out there? How does he handle that? How does everybody handle that? So that's why it's so hard to, you don't want to overreact, good or bad, to these first couple days. This is technically just day 2, really, of real training camp. And I'm using air quotes for that because until they put the pads on, it's not going to be, I think, easy to differentiate some of these players. And somebody that looked good right now may not look as good when pads are on. There might be a player that's way better once the pads are on because he's a more physical player or whatever. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's interesting. But it's weird because for a team that has a lot of questions about what they're going to do as a team, this feels like still kind of a low number of camp battles. Like, we're talking running back 2, corner 3, wide receiver 4. Last year we were talking about starting left tackle, maybe starting right tackle, we're talking about like serious wide receiver positions and what that battle was going to be. Maybe it was right around that range, wide receiver 4. But it felt like we had more, I don't know, maybe bigger questions. And maybe that's because of tackle. In a year in which, you never have to figure out quarterback, and ideally one of these days, you and I will go into a training camp and not even have to like have the conversation with the text line about, right tackle. Because you and I don't think there is, but there are plenty of people who think right tackle is.
Yeah.
That Benson starting today says something that,
We'll
that
see.
there are people that they're actually looking at for that spot.
Yeah, and we could totally be proven wrong, but based on our conversation with Nate as well, he doesn't think it's a battle either. That reinforced my opinion, frankly, that it's not a competition. But if Benson looks amazing, maybe he forces the Chiefs' hand. I would be shocked. I really would if it's not Jalen Moore week 1.
I will say, normally, I'm a big baseball fan. I watched the Royals game last night, even though they're not in it because, background television. Or I watched it once I got done with the KC
we'll talk about the media game. We were at the
after I got done with the KC Current media game. I finished watching it. And so, like, when you get into it, it's like, I like fun games where they win. But if you had told me on April 1st that in a single game, Randy Dobnak twirled 7 scoreless innings, Tyler Tolbert hit a home run, and Salvador Perez hit a triple, I'd be like, oh, so the season went bad. Because those can't be the names contributing for you on July 30th.
Yeah,
it's like the only thing I know.
Reminder, baseball just very weird, and it's so unpredictable day to day, and
Randy Dobnak's been dealing all of July.
He's their pitcher. He's been maybe their best pitcher in July.
He could win AL Pitcher of the Month. That's how good he's been.
He got his first win since 2021, I believe, yesterday.
2021? That was the last time?
I believe that's accurate, yeah.
How does this happen? Can anyone explain to me in baseball how, like,
baseball's
a guy who's just been
like
cast
this.
asunder, has no interest in, is just, like, throwing 7 scoreless innings for no reason?
Yeah, I mean, well, one, A, baseball's weird. B, I will say, as much as there's plenty of room for criticism, they've done a decent job when they've tried to acquire other teams' potentially big league players and brought them in from a pitching standpoint and tweaked a few things and got something out of them. That's probably credit to Brian Sweeney more than anybody else.
That's fair.
That's what I would say. No, I'm not suggesting that Dobnak's an option for next year. I'm just saying that was better than he's looked in 5 years.
I had someone text me last night, does he have trade value? He was, no, is the answer.
Come on.
He was on the street. He has now thrown 26 innings for the Royals with a 1.04 earned run average.
Yeah, good for him.
3 starts, 5 appearances. And yeah, you know what? Good for him because it might very well get him paid again. He's only 31 years old. Someone might look at it as just some random reclamation
You don't think he's going to pitch well enough to where the Royals are going to talk themselves into him being like their fifth starter next year?
Come on.
Well, what's the rotation next year, Cody?
The man's made 24 career starts, 44 career appearances. He's only pitched in the big leagues 44 times. We're just going to make him a starter now?
I'm saying, I don't want him to be the starter next year. I'm saying, are we going to be sitting here in a month and are the Royals going to convince themselves that he's an option next year?
Not unless J.J. Piccolo goes on Aaron Rodgers' ayahuasca journey. There's no sober person.
Well, tell me who else is in this rotation right now, because if they don't trade Walker and Lugo, okay, Walker, Lugo, Noah Cameron, Avila, there's 4.
Avila, yeah.
If Lynch sticks around, do they try to convert him to a starter again?
I think before I got 5. To Randy Dobnak,
I agree, but I wouldn't put it past him.
Kuderner's coming off the injury. I'm trying to think about like if there's someone in the minors. A realistic name. I can't. I'd love to just say Kendry.
This is also why I don't think they're trading
Burger coming off the injury as a starter.
But the thing
Bubic on a 1-year deal as a starter.
Cody, that's with Walker.
Cooter not coming off the injury as a starter. I mean, it'd be pretty bleak. That's better than Dobnak, though. Come on.
That's with Walker and Lugo still being on this roster, though, after Monday.
Yeah. Which, by the way, one or two probably will be.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's all. I was just saying, like, with reports gold, probably will be, won't he? Who else would you have?
Well, it depends on if they're trading Walker or Lugo. If one or both of them are traded, then that rotation is extremely bleak. And I would like to think they would go and acquire a more reputable starting pitcher than that. I'm just saying, would they talk themselves into it if he actually replicated that? My guess is what's going to happen with Dobnak, now that he pitched like that, Cody, people are going to scout him up more than they had, and he's going to not pitch anywhere near that the rest of the season. So
probably, and he'll probably get a minor league deal with some team next year because now he's shown at least a little juice. The truth is, if you talk yourself into that, then why wouldn't you trade all these guys? What contending team goes into the season with a guy who's made 20 career major league starts as their 5th starter after he'd been just cast away from
I agree. He should not be an option. I'm just saying they better not talk themselves into that. And also, you mentioned Chris Bubic. I'm done with that experiment. I'm not interested even bringing him back on a prove-it 1-year deal. I'm sorry. He has proved to me that he can't finish a season. That's what he's proved to me. I don't need him to prove it next year for me at all.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at this point, him and Cole Reagans can't stay healthy. If you go into next year and you tell me Chris Bubic is their 5, I'm like, okay, so you need a 6 or a 7 or an 8 because he could probably make a dozen starts for you, but what's your plan for the other 18? Like, if you're giving him a 1-year deal for no money, look, am I going to throw some fit over them bringing Chris Bubic back? No, it's fine. Or Reagans, it's fine.
Well, Reagans is under contract, so he's hurt, but he won't even be available till midway next year probably, and he might end up being a bullpen guy down the road. I don't know.
Wouldn't you make?
But he's under contract. Chris Bubic is not under contract after this year. They would have to make the decision. He would have to decide: is it time to move on or try it one more year? And I'm saying I'm kind of ready to just wipe my hands clean of the Chris Bubic experiment. It's unfortunate that he's never been able to stay healthy, except for the 1 year where he was an all-star.
I think they're going to. Go ahead, JT.
I was going to say, do you think there's a bigger issue with the Royals than just the pitchers being injured? Because I mean, you look at the whole roster; they're injured, and then they keep bringing players back, and then they go back on the IL. You got Garcia coming back to Kansas City after a rehab start because he feels numbing in his hand. Like, is there a bigger issue with the injuries on the Royals front and as a whole team than just the pitching staff at this point?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there is. I mean, you're now asking bigger picture. We've been talking about that for months, that clearly this is not just a one particular. It's not just because they got guys hurt. It's not just because of starting pitching. The bullpen is a disaster. We're going to talk about Vinny ending up on the IL again. I know you hate when I say it, but he's got a long track record of not staying healthy. That's a problem.
He kind of erased it for a couple of years, and now it's back, yeah.
You know, it's unfortunate to see him back on the IL. And then to what JT's saying, I know we're going to discuss it in about 20 minutes, which is the rash of injuries. And I'm assuming you always will reevaluate how you go about your medical staff, but they have had a lot of guys that have been on the IL, come back, got re-injured, or been on the IL, rehab assignment, got re-injured, had to come back to Kansas City to be reevaluated. That's what's happening to Michael Garcia right now, by the way. It's bizarre. Some of it is bad luck, yes, but it can't all just be the worst luck ever.
In one single year? No. We'll definitely talk more about it when we discuss Vinny and his injury heading back to the IL yesterday. Maybe they can do an all-injured pitching staff, Reagans, Bubich, Shane Bieber. He hasn't pitched in years. He's made like 7 starts this year, too.
Don't forget, this year we've partnered with KCUC, who's donating $50 to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for every home run the boys in blue hit this season. 1 in 8 men will face prostate cancer. Early detection saves lives. And at KCUC, Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team, you see the best in KC. Scheduled today at kcuc.com. Last night, we were out at CPKC Stadium. It was the 2026 KC Current Media Games. You were on the opposite team with Nate Taylor. I was on the team that lost last night. You guys won.
The winning squad.
We were only on the field for 5 minutes, so first goal usually wins. I will say I had my one chance to score, and I blew it, Cody. I blew it.
Yeah, you had an opportunity down there. What the hell happened?
A great opportunity and just struck the ball wrong. It was just a weak kick. It was a weak kick. It was my one chance to actually score in the entire game. It was a good pass to me as well. And yeah, it was in the final seconds of the match. It would have been an equalizer late.
Now I will say they might have called the game, and I didn't want to bring this up to you at the time because it's way more fun in the air. On your end, you guys had not realized that they seemingly had said, "That's it."
No, the ref. No. The ref.
I'm not talking about the ref. I'm talking about the suits.
The ref is the ref. The ref put the ball at midfield and said, "You guys had scored. You were still celebrating in the corner."
Yep, correct.
And anybody that's played in the media game knows that you better get back because they don't wait. It's not so the referee, she put the ball at midfield. We started going. We had a breakaway. You guys only had a couple people back there. And that's when I had a chance to score. You're telling me that the game was called after the goal?
Yes.
Oh, well, I don't know about
maybe
that.
not after the goal, but it was about when you were like halfway towards the goal.
Okay.
The suits and power the B were out on the field saying, "That's it."
Oh,
That's
I
it
would
for
have been
several minutes.
I would have been pissed,
while you
Cody.
guys were continuing to kick the ball. By the way, you had like 2 on 45, and not a single one of you could put the ball in the net.
I know. I blew the opportunity. And then our friend Jackson Kurtz from Channel 9 early in the match had a golden opportunity. He kicked and just completely missed the soccer ball. Sorry, Jackson. That was our chance to score
He's
early.
got to own it. Yeah, you guys had the best opportunities early, and then we just had one breakaway goal.
And our goalie seemed to
got deked.
Yeah, badly.
Well, in fairness, that guy who scored on our team, I don't know his name.
Yeah.
He can play.
Yes, he can.
He can handle. He can handle.
Thanks.
Is it a full?
himself
Do you guys
out
play the
there.
full?
Oh yeah.
field?
Now there's 60 of us on the field. There are too many people on the field.
Full pitch, though.
But the 5 minutes on that field, you build up a pretty good sweat quick.
I don't know if they cut it in half for you or not.
If they let us play on that full field for 20 minutes, people would be passing out.
I thought I got robbed a little bit. So I had gotten the ball, I had completed a pass that went fine, and then somebody was passing it ahead to me. And I was getting ready. I had wide open field, and I was just going to run up the left side. But apparently, we weren't to use all of the left side of the pitch. And they told me I had to, we just had to do a toss-in. Like, all of a sudden, I was out of bounds, even though I wasn't out of bounds.
Okay.
I was getting ready to run up the whole left side of the pitch. I will say, and this is like a small thing, the KC Kern is still one of the easiest atmospheres in all the city. It is so fun.
They kicked
to
Louisville's
go to.
ass last night too.
Destroyed them.
It was
a million goals. They got the best. Their chance way better than anything. Even better than Let's Go Royals. The KC Baby chance amazing. It's just a fun time out there.
Someone says, "Did you guys play shoeless?" Nope. JT, don't worry. Last night the media game, we all had our shoes on while we were playing soccer.
Alex did wear flip-flops to work today.
Yeah,
right
just for
in
you.
the face.
Just
of
for
JT.
you, JT. Just for you.
He's got the dogs out.
I've never worn sandals to work, but after this week of conversation and JT's fear of feet, and his fiance again is going to call in 20 minutes, I decided to wear shoes today. We have a short show. I said, screw it.
As a reminder, like Gold just said, JT's fiance, Haley, will be joining the show at 10:45 today. She's agreed to come on to discuss
What a brave soul.
what took place, what we learned about JT this week. It's starting to impact other parts of his job. He's going to produce the Chiefs Radio Network. It's already being discussed amongst the personnel.
I mean,
The Chiefs Radio Network side.
Carrington, I called into the C-Dot show yesterday on the drive back from St. Joe, as you and I will be giving reports on our drive back with C-Dot. and they asked me about it as well. And apparently it's reached the sales department. Everybody in the building knows, JT. Everybody knows, my man.
Man, it's tough. I didn't.
It is part of your reputation in this building now.
I did not know it was going to take this much of a cruise control on people because I was like, I thought it was normal.
You legit thought that was a normal thing, though.
Like I'm telling you, like
no one ever.
I've never. I'm obviously.
When did you realize it wasn't normal? This week,
Just today?
or like your friends? Because on the first day you told us in the clip that we've sent out, you say, ask my buds. I assume you're talking about your friends,
so
obviously. And so that means you've had you clearly have told your friends in the past that you have sex with your shoes on.
So yes, over the summer, last summer I should say, my best friend got married, who's going to be my best man in my wedding. And at his bachelor party, I got super drunk. And I told everyone about my shoes and sex.
And then they were like, wait a second.
You know what? We didn't even have to get JT drunk to tell us on live radio earlier this week.
So that came out, and they've told me that's not normal. So I learned about a year and a half ago that it's probably not normal.
All right, up next, let's briefly talk some Chiefs football again, expectations in the NFL across the board, and JT's fiance Haley's going to call in around 10:45 to sort out this situation. We got a lot of questions. I'm sure you do as well. That's coming up next.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in to hear Royals insider Josh Vernier every Wednesday at 12:30. Cody and Gold is brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan.
Well, my friends over at Shawnee Mission Ford are under all new management, and Shawnee Mission is dealing because summer's better at the lake or on that road trip or hauling a backyard project, and summer's simply better in a Ford. So if you have not shopped Shawnee Mission Ford for a while, the rules have changed in your favor. They're not going to ever be undersold. They're going to always make you feel like family. In fact, if you bring them any written offer on the same vehicle, they're going to match it or beat it, period. And right now, the F-150 is even better. Get 2.9% APR plus a $1,000 Ford credit bonus cash on the new 2026 F-150. That's right, only 2.9% with $1,000 of bonus cash, making the F-150 the truck you can afford this summer. You can shop them right now at ShawneeMissionFord.com. That's ShawneeMissionFord.com. They're just off I-35 on Shawnee Mission Parkway, not too far from us, actually, where we're doing the show right now. In fact, life's better in a Ford. Discover yours today at Shawnee Mission Ford. 2.9% APR with approved credit through Ford Credit. Not all buyers will qualify. Excludes Raptor. Dealer administration fee $7.99. Price match applies to a valid written offer from a licensed dealer on an identical in-stock vehicle with comparable mileage and the same trade evaluation. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
The corrupt political establishment. If you're ready to give them the finger, Taylor Burks is your man for Congress. Taylor Burks, America First conservative, outsider, 3 combat deployments as a naval commander. Taylor Burks will stand with President Trump against rhinos and the corrupt establishment. In Congress, Burks will always put America first. He'll work with Trump to deport every last illegal, ban communist China from owning 1 inch of our land, and protect our elections by passing the SAVE Act once and for all. So if you want to tell off the political establishment, conservative warrior Taylor Burks, an America First patriot for Congress. Paid for by Show Me Valor PAC. www.showmevalorpac.org. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Show Me Valor PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I hope you are sitting down. The ACA Marketplace has announced significant increases on monthly premiums, with deductibles over $10,000. You can enroll with Matt B. and KC at BBS Insurance's Freedom of Choice plan now. You don't have to wait. Their plan lets you use any doctor, has 0 outpatient deductibles, and is 30 to 60% lower cost than most Obamacare plans. Also, there's no income disclosure required, so no potential tax penalties. If you're a small business owner or pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Matt B. and KC for an instant quote over the phone, 816-205-4664. That's 816-205-4664. Or go to bbsinsurance.net. That's bbsinsurance.net. They will customize a plan chosen and managed by you, not the government.
The success you've had in life matters. The late nights, the extra shifts, the moments you've stood up and said, I've got this. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we value your achievements because we're a school for real life. With UMGC, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and relevant life and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer scholarships, affordable tuition, and online and hybrid classes, all with the support you need from your first day to graduation day and beyond. As an accredited state university, we've been transforming lives for over 75 years. Choose from more than 100 undergraduate and graduate degrees and certificates, and get ready to succeed again. At UMGC, success is yours for the taking and the making, and nothing should keep you from it, especially not an application fee. Apply now and we'll waive your application fee. Classes start August 12th. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
I scream. You scream. We all scream. Because Wendy's famous small classic Frosty is just $1 for a limited time. More screaming, happy screaming, summer screaming, dollar small classic Frosty screaming! But please don't scream in the drive-thru. It hurts the employees' ears. Get a $1 small classic Frosty for a limited time, only at Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. A la carte only, not valid for delivery. Limit 10 per transaction. Price may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state, only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
J. Rieger & Co. Straight Bourbon Whiskey, winner of Best Craft Bourbon at the 2025 Ascot Awards. At 90 proof, it's rich, well-balanced, and oh so good. Quality crafted in Kansas City.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
All right, a little bit of news in the sports world, breaking news coming out. If you saw a few days ago, there were reports that FIFA was considering selling 21% stake in the World Cup commercial assets to private investors. Quickly, UEFA, which is the governing body of all the European soccer nations, they were pushing back. And now it's official. This comes from Joe Pompliano, who is with Front Office Sports, or used to be with Front Office Sports. I think now he runs his own deal, but he's connected in the sports business world. He said, all 55 UEFA member associations have agreed to boycott the Men's and Women's World Cup as a protest against Infantino's plan to sell a 21% stake in the World Cup commercial assets to private investors. Now, they've got some time to get this whole thing figured out. 2030 is the next Men's World Cup. But, of course, the Women's World Cup is coming up in 2 years. Or next year, I guess it would be, right? Next year or 2 years. And because of that, this is something that they're going to have to sort out. Otherwise, this is a big step towards these countries pushing back. You can't have the World Cup without having 55 of the European nations in your tournament. So they know what they're doing. They're trying to pressure FIFA from actually making this decision to sell in stakes. UEFA's arguing like, you don't have permission to sell a stake in our tournament that we're part of. Now, I don't know legally. I think FIFA probably can, but if these other countries, member associations, boycott it, then you can't have the tournament.
I guess part of it is just, and I would just make the reverse threat. You know, they're saying, hey, we just won't play in it. Great. That's step one. Step two is we don't need you to play a worldwide tournament. Like, just to be clear, we don't, like, for the same reason the NCAA, right? We don't need the NCAA to play a world, a tournament. We can host a tournament. And so if we got the 55 UEFA teams, all we really need is AFCON and maybe the CONCACAF, and okay. And then you won't own part of it. This is a weird move from Infantino. Like for a league, especially
is it weird though, or is it just predictable?
No,
How many different organizations, sports or not sports, are trying to sell stakes? Someone brought up a good point in this same article, though, that a lot of the UEFA member associations, national leagues have sold stake. Now, maybe not the specific teams, but like La Liga and Serie A or whatever it's called, or Serie A, that they have private investors in their league, so they're kind of saying, "Wait, you're part of something that already is doing this. You just don't like it because it's FIFA." I'm not defending FIFA here, but also they're not the only people that are doing this. Heck, even in soccer, they're not the only people selling stakes and having private investors in their company. Or
no,
in their
I will say, though, if I were these North America, I'd be the first league to just ban it. The private equity stuff is already bad for some of these other businesses. You start letting it infiltrate your sports, it could be a problem. Because the second you start making it seem like none of these teams care, because the one thing sports fans have to kind of believe is that their teams at least passively care about winning. The second you only make it about that, it becomes a big issue, I think, for some of these North American teams. And honestly, they're right. Like, do you guys care about any of the integrity of any of the stuff that we've been doing this entire time, and now you're just going to sell off part of the commercial stake? How does that work? Do that mean they have to give us less of a prize pool or pay the players less? Or we've been all doing this gentleman's agreement this entire time that we both make money on it, and now you're just telling us, no, you want to siphon off a part of the money-making machine for yourself?
I think we all see how this is going.
Work.
We know in 2038, there's a good chance the World Cup is back in the United States, hopefully in Kansas City. And there's people already speculating that they're going to try to maybe expand the World Cup again. They just expanded it. It was a success. The U.S. is one of the only countries in North America, the only continent that can probably really support even more teams in the World Cup. Well, what do we know usually what happens, Cody, when you have the private equity firms start to come in and private investors? They're going to push the limits of everything, right? They're going to try to They're going to try to make it as cheap as possible to run, this tournament, but also make as much money as possible. And that's what's happened with other things. Here's the official statement. I'm not going to read the whole article, but there's a statement out from UEFA towards this decision saying that they and its national associations will not participate in any FIFA competition if, in fact, this happens. It says the World Cup cannot be treated as an investment product. It is one of football's greatest sporting legacies. It has been built over generations by players, national teams, and supporters across every continent. No part of it should ever be surrendered to private investors. The World Cup is not for sale. They went on to say it's both irresponsible and indefensible that a proposal of such significance for football was conceived in secret and brought to the brink of approval without any meaningful consultation. That's what they're also pissed off about, is that, hey, you didn't even come to us to say you were considering this. You just went out and tried to do it.
Yeah, and that's the other part. Infantino's going to get himself fired. He tried to push, and this happens all the time, you try to push the envelope too far without, buzzing it past the tower. And, of course, the reason why, and you're like, well, why didn't you tell us any of this? He knew how unpopular it was going to be. He was just going to carve off 20% to sell to a bunch of private equity firms. Come on. He knew how that was going to, What's
the end game here, though, for everybody involved?
I think it's the same thing as the Super League. Every time they try to do one of these things and it's just 99.9% disapproval rate, they drop it. They try to see if they can get away with it, and when they realize they can't, they drop it. I could be wrong, but that's my assumption of how this goes.
I hope that's what happens, Cody. The World Cup can't happen if you don't have all the European nations in it. So that's the big play they have. Now, my only part that makes me a little skeptical, Cody, you're saying they drop it all together. I hope so. Let's not act like UEFA's not greedy, too. What happens if FIFA counters and says, hey, we'll let you own 5% of it? You know what I mean? We all know how this stuff goes. I hope that doesn't play out that way, but if all of a sudden UEFA can be part of it, everybody's against it until they get theirs as well.
So then
suddenly they're okay with it.
Yeah, it's just so hard because the second you introduce that aspect to it, and the way that, for the most part, again, this is a thing that's been going on. We can all follow the news. The second they get, all they're going to be trying to figure out is how to get their money back out of it. And how do they get their money back out of it? No more guys of the hydration breaks. This turns into 4 commercial
they'll just
breaks.
expand the field.
And they'll expand the field, and they'll increase the television rights and the things that people genuinely don't want.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I just worry that UEFA is doing this, and then they're going to find out they can get a cut, and then suddenly they'll magically not have any problem with it.
Maybe. I think it's going to just get dropped. I could be wrong, but I feel like anytime it's like this massively unpopular, they just let it go. Like they try, they see if they can get away with it, and if it doesn't work, then they just move on to the next thing. So we'll see. In about 5 minutes, JT's fiance will call in, answer a couple questions for us. We
haven't screened any questions with her at all.
No, and Alex and I did not pre-discuss the questions because I think we know what we want answered most. So if you have questions you want answered that you think could be appropriate to ask her, 913-586-7965.
I really am most interested in just like the reaction the first time it happened.
Yes.
And you're like, did you have a conversation, and what was the reaction, and what did that go like? And do you have any plans of ever switching to where JT has to have the shoes and socks off?
Like drawing a hard line
set in stone?
Yeah, if anything, these are the kind of things you have to discuss
she
before.
Says I can't have the socks on. Oh my, that's a limit.
I will say, JT, it is important to discuss these things before getting married.
Yeah.
The things that are like, and I have like friends who like discuss like, hey, I take this like Alex. I take this golf trip every year. It is really important to me. After we get married, this is still this thing I am going to do. I want to make it clear this is an important event to me. This is an important thing. I don't want, there's a couple of things that I want to make sure understand that I want if we're getting married, and that you should want too. We should all have our like things that we want in this. If that is your deal breaker, you got to make that thing very clear before you get married.
Well, clearly it's not. They're engaged, so I'm guessing they already had the. Have you ever had a conversation about it, or is it?
Would it be the first?
It's just kind of a normal thing in our relationship at this point.
But I do think that it should be like, hey, to be clear, I'm not looking to change on this one.
Listen, the thing
I'm not looking to grow in this area, maybe some others, but this is a no deal.
She doesn't like her shoes are not on all the time. My shoes are on all the time. Like there's a step where I'm okay where she doesn't have socks, shoes on, but I personally just cannot be there without the shoes and socks.
Someone said, "Are you saving your feet for marriage?"
I mean, it's just, I'm just saying, no, I would say this to anybody who's getting married. It is good to establish the things that are important to you. Do we want to have kids? I only wear tennis shoes when I'm having sex. I don't care what it is, but just the things that are like, you're unmovable on.
People are this is a question for you, not your fiance. What's the most expensive shoe you have? People are wondering now, are you like, how do you just go, now that you wear shoes clearly with every activity you do you have really nice shoes or what?
Like, I don't have I wouldn't call them fancy shoes, but I have some expensive Nikes.
Do you have a favorite pair for that activity?
Oh, that activity is the Vans.
Yes. Vans?
Yeah, they're easy to slip on.
Okay.
Like in case, hey, guess what? I do have the tight jeans on for some reason. I can take them off real quick, slide the pants off, get the Vans right back on, and it works right into it.
I got to say, there's something so unserious about Vans as a preferred shoe for sex. Slip-on shoe. Somehow it's got to be like. If that serious about it, it feels like it's got to have.
You need some ankle support, is what you're saying. You need better ankle support. Yeah.
I don't know. Something about.
All right. Well, why don't you call her? We'll let you call her, and we'll ask her some of these questions. The text line, you can submit some questions. Obviously, they have to be somewhat appropriate. We're not gonna ask every question you guys text in. I already know where that's.
Also, we know the things that we can and cannot describe on the air.
That's right, JT. Don't describe what you tried to describe.
He tried
the other
to
day.
for a minute.
My goodness. 913-586-7965. 913-586-7965.
Genuinely, it was one of the more surprising things that's been revealed on this show. And we've had a few moments of that over the course of
We've gotten more traction on this, though, than a lot of things,
Yeah, I was.
That's the one thing we've always said about
sports talk. It's got to be like gator skin loafers. Like, it's got to have some style to it,
Sports Talk Radio. You could think, Cody, you had the best take on the Chiefs last week. Nobody ever comes up to you and says, man, you know what, Cody? Great Chiefs take. But they come up to you and say, hey, remember that time when you were talking about JT and the shoes?
Oh, yeah.
That's
they remember the stuff that isn't
That's
sports.
how it works, man.
Nobody's
going to remember your Chiefs take if it was a good or bad take. Nobody ultimately cares about that.
No, we know on the daily what you're here for, and that's sports.
Entertainment. All right.
We're here to entertain you.
Let's go out to the Golden Oak Lending phone line and welcome in JT's fiance, Haley, who is kind enough to call into the show this morning. Haley, first of all, seriously, thank you so much. You did not have to do this. I want to make it clear. Remember, you volunteered, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so thank you. Good morning. What's your reaction, A, to the fact that your fiance told us on the air? I know you're not surprised by it, but told us in the entire Kansas City area, now the internet as well, that he wears shoes like all the time while you guys are having sex.
Honestly, it's pretty embarrassing. I was kind of shocked. He told me about it, and I was like, this is a joke, right? And then I was like, and then he showed me the clip, and I'm like, okay, you didn't need to expose you like that. Like, you have to remember you have a reputation, and I'm a teacher. Like, let's protect me a little bit. But,
yeah.
Okay, honey. But it was kind of a social shock, but also I just was like, it's who he is, and the last 6 years almost, like, I've kind of just accepted it because I'm like, you know what, like, that's my new normal. That's normal, I guess, because I do some pretty weird stuff, and we're both different, and maybe that's how he does it.
The first time it happened, did you notice? Or was this like 2 or 3 times in and you're like, okay, now I'm noticing a pattern?
It was probably like 6 or 7 months in. Then I was like, oh, this is weird. Like, I noticed he wore shoes a lot, but I never really made fun of him. Because our anniversary is in November, so around Memorial Day we went to the lake, and that kind of like, I noticed he was wearing shoes a lot, and I was like, why do you wear shoes like everywhere you go? Like, I've never seen you really
Especially at the lake. Yeah.
He's like, I don't want my feet to be shown. I'm like, why? Like, what's wrong with them? And then it just kind of like ever since that, I kind of like was like, it's weird, but also like it's something that we've kind of I've gotten used to, that I haven't really gotten over it.
So you're not like, you have no issue with feet or people's feet in general?
No, I could go walking barefoot everywhere I go.
So do you wear, I guess.
Does he make you wear socks?
Do you wear socks in the
something?
house because of this?
Yeah.
Oh man, GT, you're making her wear socks?
Yeah.
But I don't really care. Like, I'm comfortable either way. Like, it doesn't really matter to me.
Now, does he, like, I asked him this question. I'll ask you the same question. You don't have to answer if you don't want, as we're talking to JT's fiance, Haley, here on 96.5 The Fan. Is there, like, a certain pair of shoes, he's got those shoes on, and that you know what that means?
Not really.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. I don't really pay attention to the shoes he wears. He wears the same 3 Nikes, but he has more pairs of shoes than I do, so who knows?
When you said, just as a follow-up, and this might be too personal and you don't have to answer it, when you said, I do pretty weird stuff, do you mean that in the general sense of we're all weird people? Or you're making JT do stuff that's weird enough that you can't really call him on it?
No, we're all weird people in our own way.
Okay. I needed confirmation so I know how much to judge him.
It's not throwing shade at my parents, but we've made fun of him since literally the first time we went to the lake together as a family. We all made fun of him.
So
especially his swim shoes.
That's the other part.
We roasted him.
Everybody hates the swim shoes. So if there was one thing we could get rid of in this, you would get rid of the swim shoes before everything else.
Yes, because I'm like, what are we doing, buddy?
I just hate my feet.
We went on my family's boat, and we went tubing, and he lost one of his swim shoes. He's like, my swim shoe. My dad's like, well, that sucks. Like, we'll find it later. And he's like, ow, my feet. I thought my mom was going to lose his mind. I thought my mom was going to blow his head off because she was like, what is wrong with this man?
She's like, why does he care so much about the swim shoe? Well, now we know it's a real phobia. I think he needs to talk to someone about it, Haley. I think he needs to get a therapist.
I agree he needs a therapist, but also I don't really care.
At this point, you've accepted it. That's what it sounds like.
Yes. I kind of have to when I'm marrying him in March.
Yeah, the text line says you're amazing. I think
I think you clearly love him, so that's a great thing.
Yeah,
I do love him. I do.
Yeah, and you guys are. I'm understanding is you're getting married on a cruise. Is that right?
That is true.
Okay, when is the wedding?
March of spring break of next year. So March of this year.
Okay.
Coming year.
Okay, so that's awesome. We warned JT. They were like, wait, with the whole shoe thing and foot thing, the cruise ship. I mean, people are going to be in flip flops all over the place.
He's fine. He can get over it. He just looks straight forward and doesn't look.
Man, I just like that part.
No one does. Like, I don't know anyone that's like glaring at people's feet like, oh, they got a pedicure. Like, I don't know anyone that does that.
Honestly, at some point, it's going to help JT, I think, to get older because like wearing swim shoes has got real like dorky dad energy. as you get older, you'll slide that. Like, I think that'd be a better fit for him in a lot of ways, Haley. Like, as he ages, it'll actually make more sense.
I mean, he's already in his quirky dad era with our dogs, so that's all that matters.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Well, look, do I have any other follow-ups? We don't want to let Haley go in case there's other things we want to know about this. So you said it was a full 6 months before you knew. Did you ask him if this was 100% of the time he required this? Like, how did the conversation go when you noticed?
I didn't even notice. Honestly, we didn't live together at the time. Like, we both lived at our parents' houses, and I didn't really pay attention that much because I don't pay attention to detail as much as I should. And finally at the lake, I was like, oh, he does wear shoes. Because we were finally together for like a week, and I was like, this is a lot of weirdness.
Just like, I've got questions.
Well, Haley,
all right.
We appreciate you calling to the show. I understand you're a teacher as well, so thank you for that. And we'll give JT some more grief for you.
Awesome. Sounds great. I enjoy it. I hope you know that.
There you go. That is JT's fiance, Haley.
I thought she was going to defend you more.
Did you know she was just going to roast you? Did you know she was just going to roast? I mean, she was
hates those
making
swim shoes,
fun of you for the swim shoes at the lake and the way she told the story.
I thought she was going to help and support me a little bit, but no, she went against everything I thought I was going to get some support from.
Well, she's supporting you in the sense that she is not forcing you to change your ways.
Well, that's true, but I also knew she was going to come after me for the swim shoes. Her family hates the swim shoes.
I mean, it's a tough look, man. Do they sell is there like a good looking swim shoe on the market?
No, I doubt it, but I find
Can we get you that as a wedding gift or something? You know?
There you go.
People want to know what cruise it is. People want to join you on the cruise. Text line.
You can't get into the wedding, but you can go on the cruise, yeah.
I was going to say, it can't really be a private wedding on a cruise, can it?
Actually, I think it is a private wedding where we only get like 40 people being in this room.
So there's there's like a chapel or something or whatever.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah, what we're doing is we're getting, I guess we're getting quote unquote legally married in the States because of the water problem.
Oh yeah, you're in no man's land or whatever it is.
And so then we're going on and having a little bit of a wedding on the cruise where they have the whole chapel and everything, and then we're coming back and having our reception in the States so everyone that couldn't go on the cruise gets
You get a new pair of shoes before that trip?
I
bet you are. Yeah.
And doing some research, what do your swim shoes look like? Because there are some that just look like tennis shoes.
Mine are black. They kind of look like the ones where you would have, they call them shoe socks or whatever. They kind of look like those.
I think we maybe need to get you into a tennis shoe. Maybe then it would still look weird if you're just in a pool with a tennis shoe, I guess.
That would look really weird.
But at least they don't look as bad when you're outside of the water.
Ruin the tennis shoe. You can't.
No. This is a water shoe that looks like a tennis shoe.
Who makes it?
I'm saying, like, we got to get him something that looks like a tennis shoe.
What random Chinese brand on Amazon are you looking at?
Well, I'm trying to find some.
What is that? What is that even? How do you even pronounce that?
I don't know. I mean, it's probably not a brand you know of. I don't imagine Nike makes.
Someone
their own
says just
brand
get some like Hey Dudes or boat shoes. Can you do that instead?
Like Hey Dudes, I've seen Hey Dudes. I've never had a pair of Hey Dudes, but I've seen them.
But here's the problem, but you wear socks 100% of the time in shoes.
Yeah.
Unless it's your swim shoes, in which you don't.
Yeah, the only time I
The
don't
Hey
have
Dudes would
socks
get a
on-
little bit gross,
Okay.
I think, if you were like getting in and out of the water a lot and asked him to dry and he's wearing no socks. I think the Hey Dudes would be a problem for him.
The only time I don't wear
on
socks
Men's
is
Health.
in the shower and then in bed. And literally, I'm surprised Haley didn't expose this, but
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry,
No,
go
please.
ahead.
Go
ahead.
No. Listening?
There's a certain pair of socks that I will wear after I get out of the shower because I think they are the most comfortable after the shower
Like
socks.
the exact same socks you put on, or just like that brand?
That brand.
Okay.
And what is that brand?
Oh, I don't know the brand. I found them at Walmart, but they're like no-show socks, and so then it helps because she calls out my sock tan line because obviously I have a sock tan line because I never wear no.
It's got to be a
socks.
pretty big one.
And so I have these no-show socks that I'll put on after I get out of the shower. She goes, "I can't believe you wear socks right after you get out of the shower." I'm like, "Dude, I've got to cover the feet up once they're done."
You don't let your feet dry a little bit?
Well, I put them on the towel and I rub them off. Yeah.
You don't let them breathe for a little bit and dry out?
No.
Okay.
Can't put socks on it right away.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah.
There's a Men's Health article, the 13 best. There's some decent
I just don't
looking.
know how she didn't
like,
notice.
Look, this looks like that's a swim shoe.
Yeah, that looks better.
Like, I think we can get you at the very least, we can improve the situation by getting you, like, not this. We can't have you in the, like, separate toed swim shoe. That's no good.
Yeah, shoes on the boat are a no-go.
No, but we can get you, like, a
what someone
decent
said.
swim shoe.
Yeah,
I want you to know, we were talking about how I got into this Chiefs Radio Network group chat, and Josh Briscoe just goes, "I know JT will handle the wins well, but I don't know how he's going to handle defeat with
Oh, Briscoe's never going to let you hear the end of it from a pun department.
I'm okay with it.
You're in
It's
for
all right.
life.
Yeah.
I imagine you would
Wow.
choose to listen to your fiance talk about this situation over anything anybody has at training camp to say today.
All right. Well, thank you again to JT's fiance Haley for calling the show. Congratulations to both of you. You guys are getting married in March. Cannot wait to see how that cruise goes for you guys, and I'm sure there'll be a story or two out of that. All right. Up next, though, let's get to something we were going to get to, but we had the World Cup information there. Let's talk about season expectations across the entire NFL. There's one team that very clearly has the biggest expectation, but who's right after them? That's next here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Conservative, family man, author of The Bald Plan to Reduce Property Taxes. Listen to Scott Schwab.
Property taxes are killing Kansans, but one day it hit me. Bald.
BALD stands for Better Affordable Living by Decreasing Property Taxes. And it's the only detailed plan. Schwab's BALD plan means voter approval for property tax hikes, refunds for unfair assessments, and tax relief for seniors and working families. Listen to Scott Schwab.
I'm focused on reducing taxes for Kansans. You should keep more. My BALD plan makes sure of it. When I'm governor, we'll get it done.
Finally, a governor with a good head on his shoulders. Author of the BALD Plan to Decrease Property Taxes. Conservative Republican Scott Schwab for governor. Visit scottschwab.com/bald to learn more. Paid for by Schwab for Governor, Jim Felter, Treasurer.
What do parents think of back to school at Staples, where supplies start at just 25 cents?
Staples has the latest laptops with up to 40% savings.
I may hug the cashier.
So embarrassing.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's a wonderful time at Staples with up to 40% off select tech. Staples.
That was easy.
Visit Staples today or shop online and in the app. Ends 9/12. Exclusions apply.
When I hit my 50s, I felt like things were slowing down.
This is Sandra's Metamucil story.
I started taking Metamucil for digestion, but had no idea it would impact so much more. Not only did Metamucil help me feel more regular, but my heart health saw the benefits too.
Metamucil. One simple routine, 4 health benefits. Digestive health starts here. Go to metamucil.com for more details.
The Second World War is the largest event in human history.
A 20-part series with Tom Hanks.
No part of the globe was untouched. No life unchanged.
Experience the ultimate account of World War II.
Every single person had a story. These are the stories that make us who we are.
Listen to World War II with Tom Hanks on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
The Royals and the See You in the Major Leagues Foundation are teaming up with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City to recognize outstanding high school sports coaches through the Blue KC Coaches with Character program. From April to September, we'll recognize 6 coaches as a Blue KC Coach with Character. Each honoree will receive a VIP package that includes tickets to a Royals game and more. Be part of honoring our high school coaches whose service is making Kansas City a better place to live, work, and play. Just go to bluekc.com/nominate coaches with character to nominate today.
Men, if your energy is down, your workouts aren't producing results, you're gaining stubborn weight, losing muscle, sleeping poorly, or just not feeling like yourself anymore, it may be more than just aging. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. Our low T and body composition treatments are designed to help men regain energy, improve focus, sleep better, build lean muscle, reduce unwanted fat, and restore confidence both in and out of the gym. At Heartland Men's Health, we specialize in helping men optimize their health, performance, and vitality. Using personalized medical treatments tailored to your health and goals, many men begin noticing improvements in energy, mental clarity, recovery, motivation, libido, and overall body composition within just a few weeks. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, PSA and T-test, and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Oh, hey, Sarah. Did you hear my daughter Katie got Camper of the Week?
That's a big deal.
We got a big deal too, right, Mom?
Honey, shh.
What's that?
Okay, that Hyundai Santa Fe, I only paid.
Nice.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days, or 1.9% APR for 72 months on the Hyundai Tucson, Santa Fe, or Santa Fe Hybrid during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Hurry, offer ends August 3rd. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems that can keep you up at night, like snoring, aches and pains, or sleeping hot. Our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And right now, save $500 on Tempur-Breeze mattresses, plus get a $300 instant gift. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Sun's out, so dads are too. This Father's Day at Lowe's, shop the gear that'll make his summer. Get 2 free select DeWalt power tools when you buy a select 5 amp hour battery kit for weekends in the garage. Plus, get a free Blackstone 6-piece stainless steel griddle kit when you buy a select Blackstone griddle. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 6/24. While supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Go to 965thefan.com for your chance to win Kansas City Chiefs scratch tickets, plus a chance for the grand prize Chiefs bundle, which includes a framed jersey and a signed photo. All thanks to our friends at the Kansas Lottery.
This is Michael Waka from the Kansas City Royals, and you're listening to 96.5 The Fan.
KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, 11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, JT Noah producing the show today. Coming up in a half hour, we'll hand things off to Vern. His on-deck show. Royals have some day baseball today against the Minnesota Twins. That's why we're off a little early. That's why we're not up in St. Joe for camp today, although we're right back at it tomorrow in St. Joe, broadcasting live from the practice field, the only station broadcasting live. And we'll have a Chiefs player join us after the show tomorrow. And if you missed any bit of our Xavier Worthy interview from yesterday, it's up on our website. Also, there's a clip or two on our social media channels, Instagram and X, as well as Facebook, if you want to check that out. We will move on, but one final thing on the JT Foot conversation.
It's so good.
And his, again, fiance called in last hour. Appreciate that. Now, I'm not going to get into the details because now you guys are having a more serious conversation, but someone did text in that is a therapist and said, I'm a therapist. I can donate, or can I donate 2 hours of my time for sessions with him to talk about this foot thing? And I'm not going to read your back and forth, but she's very serious about this. And all she said is, I have to mention
just
this line. You don't have to justify a single thing, she said. We've all been through things in life. I want to help you process where this came from.
Because it came from somewhere. Sometimes phobias can just be phobias, right? They're not. Are they all born in something, or sometimes it's just a thing?
Well, let us know if you end up talking to this. I said her. I don't know if it's it sounded like it was her. I don't know if it's a he or a she, but that wants to help you.
I'll keep you guys informed.
Therapy's good. More men should be in it, JT. You know, could really, and it doesn't mean you have to change your sexual preferences in bed. You know, could still be whatever your thing is. I was trying to say that with a straight face, but it's just still funny to think about you. And of course, it's Nikes, and then everyone's making the "just do it" joke on the text line, and
someone else says I'm also a therapist, and she's wrong. Anyway, all right.
That person's clearly not a therapist. The other person's talking like a therapist.
Yes, oh, totally. All right. We know the Rams probably have the biggest expectations for this season, most pressure for this season. They're all in. Stafford could be his final year. This is a team that traded for Myles Garrett, traded for Trent McDuffie, signed Jalen Watson. They were already in the NFC title game last year. They just ran into a really good Seattle team, and they didn't have an answer for JSN, so they bolstered their defense, specifically their secondary. So the Rams are clearly the number one team in football from a pressure and expectation. Doesn't mean they'll end up being Super Bowl champions. Who's right after that, though, in the NFL? And then where do the Chiefs fall in line?
Seahawks, I think, is a fair number 2. You are the defending Super Bowl champions. You're always going to be somewhere at the top of this list. I think that that's a more than fair way to look at it. I'd be hard-pressed to not say that they should be higher than Kansas City, honestly, in a lot of ways, because people will still wonder, are you a flash in the pan who got lucky? Are you the Trent Dilfer, Bucks? Yeah. Are you the Joe Flacco Ravens, or are you for real? And you're going to do this thing every single time, and we're going to actually have a conversation. I think from a national perspective, the Ravens are third because people are very, very high in them. I think the Patriots are ahead of the Chiefs, and I think the Bills are ahead of the Chiefs.
Bills are definitely.
Then I would slide them in. The teams I think they're in competition with are Bears, Philly, the teams that have like the new up-and-coming teams who are starting to get pressure, and the old stalwarts like the Chiefs and the Eagles and the teams that people expect to typically be in competition. But this is the first time I would rank them in the number one. These are the teams that we have real expectations with, and we think they should win a Super Bowl. And if they don't, we're massively disappointed from a national perspective. This is the first time I'd rank the Chiefs out of the top 5 in the entire Mahomes era since probably his version of a rookie season, but since his first full year as a starter. And by the time the end of the season hit, they had probably established that.
When it comes to pressure, yeah, I think Rams are 1. I think Seattle, anytime you were in the Super Bowl and won it, the next year you have massive pressure and expectation. Although I don't know many people are expecting the Seahawks, Cody, to win the NFC West. So that automatically you would think would knock you down. If everybody's kind of admitting preseason they don't think you're winning your own division, how crazy is the pressure actually? So Seattle's there, but I'm struggling to find that too. I think the Chicago Bears might be number 2 or number 3 on this list. You're in Chicago. We all know that last year they took great strides, but now people in Chicago are expecting Super Bowl after seeing what they did in the postseason.
They want the next level. Yeah,
so
they
I
do.
think Chicago's got more pressure than Kansas City. I also agree with you. Baltimore's in that 2 or 3 slot. I think Buffalo just is because Josh Allen, the clock is ticking just because he's never got to a Super Bowl.
I just think people are down on their expectations this year because they've seen them come up short a couple of times. And I think most people agree this probably isn't their best roster compared to some other seasons.
I think Denver has more pressure because they won the division. They won 14 games. People want to say, hey, can you replicate that? Can Bo Nix replicate that? You won all these one-score games. Are you guys able to do that again? I think there's a ton of teams, Cody, I think are ahead of the Chiefs, and that's a good thing for pressure is what I'm kind of labeling it as. The Chargers, this is not year 1 or 2 for Harbaugh anymore. He goes and gets a very good offensive coordinator, former head coach, and Mike McDaniel, but there's real expectation for the Chargers to win the division this year, even if that's been something people have predicted for years. I think so I've listed off like 6 or 7 teams that I think have more pressure than the Chiefs do entering this season.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I can't believe they're out of the top 5, but genuinely, people do not have real expectations outside of Kansas City for the Chiefs right now. Like if we did it in Kansas City, people would probably have them in the top 5. But if we took it outside of that, there are people who, for the most part, think that this might be another wash year for the Chiefs. And like to your point, some of the teams that are like the Broncos, we know this works. Everyone in the NFL who has an average quarterback, Sam Darnold, Bo Nix, they're always like, hey, better take advantage now.
Great defense
because
in Denver.
you're not going to get it every year. The whole roster is not going to be tailor-made for your existence. The Broncos were incredibly healthy last year too. You think everyone's just making it through the season again? You think every wide receiver, every defensive lineman, every corner is making it through the year? And so sometimes it's like that kind of pressure exists especially when you're like the Patriots or the Broncos or the Packers or, like when you're like, we're on the cusp, when you had a chance.
Nationally, I think the Texans are right in either at the same spot or ahead of the Chiefs in terms of pressure as well. C.J. Stroud and a lot of question marks about him. There's a difference between national pressure and local. I think locally there's an immense amount of pressure on Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes to get. But I'm talking nationally how people are talking about the teams. That's why I think the Texans, you can make an argument, are even in front of them from a pressure. But locally, there's no doubt. I think we all recognize if this team misses the playoffs, there are going to be some really, really tough questions and discussions on this show and across Kansas City about the future of multiple people that have won a lot of things and done a lot of things here in this organization.
Because they're going to wonder what happened. Right now, Buffalo is the second best odds to win the Super Bowl, and I don't get it. Like, and they've got a real legit wide receiver for the first time in a long time. Still brand new head coach. Still an offense that can score. The one thing I know about the Bills, they'll score.
Yeah,
like I'm not worried about that. They'll score. They'll score some points. That's not a part. But the defense has been slowly getting worse every year. And they didn't bring it. They're too tight against the cap. They didn't bring in some plethora of talent to solve that thing. I don't understand. I really genuinely do not understand the Super Bowl odds this year. I don't understand how Buffalo's second, other than the odds are close. I don't understand how the Chargers are sixth right now, or fifth, I'm sorry. At FanDuel, they're fifth right now, ahead of the Chiefs at plus 1,500. I'm like, am I missing something in some part of this? And it probably just speaks to the
somebody's got to be. Somebody's got to be the
Someone's got to
favorite.
be second, and that's maybe what it comes down to. Yeah.
And these will change. This is preseason, but the
odds are really tight this year.
It's a wide open AFC. There's questions about everybody.
It's true.
So on one hand, when I say I don't think the Chiefs are entering the season for the first time in a while as clearly the number one, number two team in their conference, I think that is true. But also what is true is I don't know if we have a definitive number one or number two team, and the Chiefs can very quickly possibly end up back in that group. If there was ever a year for you not to be the number one, number two team in the AFC, this might be the year, meaning you could end up being the fifth or sixth seed on paper as we sit in July, and you could still make some hay in the playoffs. Now, in November, Cody, this is all going to get sorted out a little bit. We'll have a better feel by November watching these teams. Somebody will emerge as the clear team in the AFC by November.
Well, then the pressure will change. If the Chiefs are 8-1, well, then you're right back at the top of the list. You're the Chiefs. You have Mahomes. You've started well. I mean, it's not hard to discern, but going into the year, this is as sneakily far down the list as they've been in forever. Another one, and they were pointed out, Cash pointed out over on Twitch, you know who else gets to just lay completely low right now? Nobody's talking about the Lions. Talk about a team that does not have, in my opinion, any pressure. They should maybe, but because there's all those teams you just mentioned on the pressure list, and because they were out of the playoffs for a second and their whole division is busy, and the NFC West is so busy, the Lions get to just lay in the weeds in this one if they want to just play pressure free for the first time in what feels like years. And they're still a team that feels like they could be dangerous. Similar to Kansas City. Those would be the two teams I'd say the pressure doesn't match what I think they'll do this year. As in, halfway through the season, I think we'll be discussing those two teams probably a little differently.
Yeah, I mean, the NFC
Nationally.
North, the NFC North, though, other than who? Is there any team you can say for sure? I'm down on I'm down on Green Bay more so than others, but you can make a case, though, for every single team in that division to win the division.
Correct. That might be the only division in football you can say that.
Can't do it in the West because the Raiders are not winning this division. But even if I don't believe
the NFC South is the only other one we can make the argument
that anybody can win it.
But for the opposite reason,
because it's a 9-win division or something.
Yeah,
I mean, in the NFC North, even if I don't believe it, you could make a strong case why the Packers you think are winning it, or the Lions, the Vikings, the Bears. Yeah, the AFC West, the Raiders aren't. The NFC West, every team but the Cardinals. The Cardinals are not winning that division. The AFC East, the Dolphins are not winning that division.
They're the Jets.
Now, we can get to this. I'm sure we will once we get closer to the season. We know the trends in the NFL. Every year, there's one or two teams that do go worst to first.
I'll just choose the NFC South. Whoever finished last there.
Or you pick the Packers and Vikings, they tied. Or you go and you pick a team like the Tennessee Titans to surprise everybody. I think the Giants would be my pick in that scenario. We'll do that topic much closer to the season. That's always a fun one because every year it's something that I think everybody tries to predict who that team is. And last year the Patriots were one of those teams. But you know how I feel about the NFC East. I think that's a wide open division. That would be one I would look at.
Who was worst in the South last year? The NFC South. They all stunk.
Did it end up being
the Saints.
Atlanta? Or
no, it ended up being the Saints at 6-11. Atlanta was 8-9. Bucks were 8-9. Panthers were 8-9. They all had the same record except for the Saints, who were 2 games behind. Only 2 games behind them. And they started a bunch of different quarterbacks. I was surprised, by the way, to see Taysom Hill wasn't returning there. I just think of him as a Saint.
He's done?
He said he's not returning to Saints.
He's a free agent, is what you're saying.
He is a free agent.
Is his career finally over?
You want to bring Taysom Hill in?
No, I'm good.
What an interesting career.
Good for him, man. He cashed in. Sean Payton loved him.
He had one of the more unique NFL careers I can remember.
2,500 yards, 34 touchdowns in his NFL career. Obviously, threw a couple passes along the way. Finally settled in at tight end the last couple of years, but there was, 5 years where he was a QB and wide receiver, a QB and a tight end.
Ran the ball. Like his NFL career, to go through his stat page is a nightmare. He has 2,551 career rushing yards. As a receiver, he has 1,034 career receiving yards. And then passing. To go through his Football Reference page it's a bit of a headache. Passing, he has 2,426 career passing yards. So,
what's your guess? Career earnings.
I mean, he got that $70 million deal.
Text line you. What's your guess?
$80 million.
Career earnings from Taysom Hill.
$80 million is
He
my
played
guess.
9 years in the league. He's 35 now. We just went through his stats.
$92.5 million.
No, you both are way too high. I thought we were going to surprise you the other way. $62.9 million, which is still a crazy number for Taysom Hill. $62.9 million. Good for him.
Do you think he gets signed by someone?
No, I think he's done.
He was a part of what was, I thought, one of the single most ridiculous individual fantasy football rules that a league ever had that I was near. And it was you had to start Taysom Hill once a game, and it was like blind draw at tight end. Like, nobody got to draft him because, you got to play him in 80 different positions for a stretch there in fantasy football.
Yeah.
You could start him in flex,
change
running back,
rules.
tight end. Yeah. And so this league was no one could draft Taysom Hill, but everybody had to start him on a random draw.
That's funny.
At tight end. The year that he was playing more quarterback, you just had to play him once.
The controversy, though, was Yahoo and some of these leagues, whether or not they let him qualify as did you get quarterback stats for you could have him play as a tight end while he was playing quarterback? There was a whole dispute there. Someone says, hey, and this is a good point. They said, hey, could Sean Payton, who's now with the Broncos, bring him in? I don't think he's playing again, but that would make sense. That'd be the team. If you thought Taysom Hill was going to get signed by anybody, Sean Payton would bring his old guy in to Denver. But their tight end room, Evan Ingram, who else is there? I think the only name I know, Evan Ingram's the tight end in Denver. He was disappointing last year. They bring in Taysom Hill and add another gimmick package.
My friend Nathan, I looked it up. It's right. Taysom Hill is the first player since Frank Gifford with 1,010 touchdowns in each rushing, receiving, and passing. He had a weirdo career. But I mean, good for him, man. He made $70 million. He got to stay in New Orleans for 9. He stayed with one team too. Normally with a weird player like that, you'd think that they'd bounce around or something, but he just stayed a Saint the whole time. He just said he's not returning to the Saints. He didn't say he was retiring, in fairness. It feels like the kind of player Andy would like just because he likes players who can do everything. I don't know. But you and I have talked about this. That could just be worthy. By the way, a couple of wide receivers. Armstrong had a nice day at camp. Cyrus Allen was being talked about a lot at camp yesterday. There are plenty of conversations around which wide receivers are going to, make noise this year in the fourth wide receiver spot. So we'll keep an eye on that. We only have about, a couple of minutes left in the show. I did see the Chiefs just sent out. The EA Madden ratings are out. Patrick Mahomes is not the highest rated Kansas City Chief. Isn't that crazy? I think it's wrong.
That is crazy.
He is ranked 93. Travis Kelce's ranked 91. Trey Smith is 91. Kenneth Walker's ranked 90. The highest ranked Chief on Madden this year is Creed Humphrey at 95.
Yeah, that's just funny.
I mean, look, Creed Humphrey's great. He's the best center, and he's on a Hall of Fame path, which is rare for a center. But just the idea that there's a NFL football game in which Patrick Mahomes is not the highest rated player on his own team? We know that the Madden ratings fluctuate year to year, but Creed Humphrey's the highest rated Chief? If we have him on at camp, we got to talk about that, don't we? Joke that he's the highest rated Chief.
Yeah, Creed was talking today, actually, about Kenneth Walker and stuff. Just talked about him being a freak athlete. That's what everybody talks about with Kenneth Walker. Is
he moves different than all the other guys they've had.
Everybody says he's a freak, and they just his basically while he's not the tallest player, just his strength is very impressive for people out there at training camp. And hopefully, again, it leads to him living up to the expectation. The bar is very high for Kenneth Walker this year. But yeah, Creed Humphrey is the anchor of that offensive line. I don't think anybody has any questions. That 1 year, that 1 8-week stretch where he suddenly had some issues snapping the football, he got that corrected. That's not really a problem anymore. Remember, that was a whole thing for about 8 or 9 weeks.
That was weird. Right at the end of the season.
Low snaps.
And it came up in the Super Bowl. He had 1 or 2 that was kind of weird. And then he changed his, I think, the way he was snapping or his grip on the football. when he was doing it, and then it all changed a little bit. Sorry, I was thinking about how I wanted to say that sentence.
I trust me, I was thinking the same thing. You didn't want to say
after the way this week has gone. I didn't want to talk about like
how he was gripping.
Yeah, I was trying to think about like the proper way to say that without stepping.
Did you know that the morning show they gave their take on feet after JT's thing?
What did they say?
This is what Dusty said.
Somebody says, Dusty, if Paige Spiranek asked you to lick those toes, you'd love feet
Absolutely,
real fast.
he would.
Probably fair. She could walk 36, and I'd probably have a toe in my mouth.
Yeah.
That's Dusty's stance on feet. This is Bob's.
Oh, I got a foot fetish. My wife's got beautiful feet. Massaging the foot of your loved one, man, that leads to whoopee fast.
They went the other way as you, JT is flabbergasted. That's the opposite end of the universe of you, my friend.
Yikes. That's almost Rex Ryan.
That was Rex Ryan right there. Yeah, I'm convinced. Mm-hmm.
He went,
I'm not worried about my dog licking my feet while I'm having sex. Thank you for bringing that one back.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. You've been a good sport about it, JT.
You have. You have.
I still think the one that Haley said, "Ow, my feet's gonna be the most damaging one to me."
Yeah, yeah, that one's pretty tough. She was making it seem like you were like, and the truth was, it probably wasn't about your feet being uncomfortable, JT. It's that you didn't want your feet exposed, and you were like looking for a reason to be like, "Look, I gotta." Was that early in the relationship? Or was this recent?
Yep. No, real early. It was about.
See, that's tough.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, they're like, "Okay, we barely know JT. What the hell's with the shoes?" Like, you know how this is. We've all been in groups where you're like, JT really won't let that water shoe go. It's just a water shoe. And it turns out
it's a real thing
for JT. Doesn't want his feet exposed.
He truly doesn't.
And he's in a public setting around people he barely knows. He was trying to cover his feet up.
Yeah.
You got it back, you said? You were covered in the water?
Got it back. I got the one swim shoe back, put it back on, and we're good to go.
I think all we got to do is figure out a way to get you some nicer looking swim shoes would go a long way.
Yeah.
Something that
actually looks casual while you're walking around.
Something like if you're walking around on the beach, maybe it's a little bit weird that you got shoes on, or on the cruise ship, but it just looks like, oh, the guy not getting in the water right now, he's just got his tennis shoes on. That's fine. I guess in the water, I don't know why you can't let it go. They're all hidden under the pool anyway. You can have shoes on the outside.
He doesn't. He doesn't want to see them.
But I mean, you can barely see them when you're in like a pool, you know, or like in a lake, you can't see them at all.
Man, I'm just saying, like, especially like at beaches, I hate my feet being out because I don't like the feeling of the sand.
That's fair.
Oh, that's like, actually, you think that's great. Walking
Some
in the
people
sand.
don't like the feeling because, like, they, maybe too hot or gritty or something. Like, it doesn't bother me.
But yeah,
I think it's more about like after I leave the beach that I don't want the sand.
Oh,
anymore,
well, sure, but that's why you go to the little outdoor shower thing and wash your legs off or whatever. Yeah. That's why they have them.
That whole story where she was talking about where I said, ow, my feet. The whole problem was she was talking to me about how her and her mom would walk around barefooted on their gravel driveway as well up in Wisconsin. I'm like, that is crazy. There's no way.
Oh, well, that hurts. Yeah. Walking barefoot on gravel. Nobody wants to do that. I get why you would want shoes on for that. That's more than fair. But that's not the...
Right. No, yeah,
I spent my entire childhood with no shoes on. Like,
really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Someone says,
we're just
cut the foot bleep out. No, we can't. JT's gone after today. He's filling in for Drew. We only have 3 or 4 days of this, and then trust me, it'll mean it's going to live on forever. But we will not spend as much time.
Yeah, are you going to bring this up to Drew
today?
at all?
I promise you.
We'll have to let him know what he missed.
Drew's going to have to be filled in, but it's all right. Like it's going to be okay.
Okay, all right. I was just making sure. I was like, I didn't know how you were going to.
No, I was not to you. I'm talking the person texting in that's freaking out about it.
Oh yeah.
Listen, I didn't think it was going to get so much traction as it did. Like when I saw people putting it on social
media, a lot of traction, man.
I was like,
good
okay,
grip
wow.
with the shoes. A lot of traction.
Got good grip. Yeah.
That's going to do it for us today on the show. Short one. Vern's on Deck show's coming up. We're back in St. Joe tomorrow. We'll be broadcasting live from 10 to 2. We will have a player join us after practice as well, exclusively here on Cody and Gold. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Royals hopefully get a win. Vern gets you set for it next.